When is your marriage? What's the best and worst advice you've been given on relationships? Let's start with worst. What's your biggest fear? How are you post-breakup? Namaste everyone. How are you doing? I've missed chatting with you. Some of you I chat with on Discord and DMs and things, but I feel like with YouTube fam it's been a while, so hello to all the parathas, I miss you. Just if you feel like it, please give me an update on your life in the comments, what's been going on. The number of you who asked me, when is your marriage? Shadi kab ho rahi hai? Can I marry you being a veg person? There's some people who are like, okay, I've reached a certain age, I want to get married, and now let's find the person to get married to. Marriage as a concept, like it's okay if I never get married. It's not like I seek marriage, but I definitely see value in partnership and companionship. And to the question of, can I marry if you're veg? Firstly, I am veg. I guess the basic premise of your question is, if I am different, would that be a choice? Yeah, for me, it doesn't matter somebody's religion, race, cultural background, nothing, because at the end of the day, it's about shared values, you know, kindness, respect, and all of the above. And I think you can respect people even if they have different lifestyles. Like my family, for example, eats non-veg, my family drinks, blah, blah, blah. And those are just things that I've been veg since I was 9, and I have just chosen not to drink for multiple reasons. So, but I don't, you know, I don't judge my family or friends who do, and vice versa, they don't judge me. So it's one of those things where you can beautifully coexist with someone who might have a completely different background from you, so long as you want to build a shared life with values together. Okay, that's a lot of like deep shadi talk. Let's go to something else. When are you doing a show in Bombay? Lots of these questions. We miss you and I also want to meet you. Okay, I promise soon. I know I've been doing a lot of shows outside of India, outside of Bombay. Bombay is definitely happening in 2022, and when we have all the logistics figured out, we will announce it. So stay tuned. But Bombay is pakka happening. I cannot wait to perform for you, to have you experience all the things. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot that I'm excited to share with you. So Bombay is definitely happening. Other cities in India, we will figure out. If there is a particular city in India that you really want me to perform in, please let me know in the comments below. Best street food in Bombay. I don't eat much street food. I have a very sensitive stomach, and I can't eat anything tikha or spicy, but I do, from chaat, I do really like sev puri. I think that's my favorite for sure. What's your biggest fear? And please say my name, I'd be very happy. Okay, hi Dhruvi. I think my biggest fear is the fear of stagnancy. I feel this need to constantly be growing in some way or another, whether personally, professionally, emotionally, mentally, whatever that might be. And if I feel like I'm in a space where I don't feel that growth, then I get very scared, and it affects me a lot. So I'm scared of stagnancy. That's why I think, you know, school is important, education is important, but learning is not restricted to institutions. Learning should be lifelong, and I feel like no matter what you do in life, it's all about constantly pushing yourself. So what I love about being a creator, being an artist, you know, business stuff, is that you're always learning and you always have to upskill. You're always learning, which I love. I think that sometimes the flip side of that is, especially in this kind of a space, the numbers can really get to you. Someone had a question about YouTube and mental health and things like that. It is scary to be in an industry where the numbers sometimes dictate the money you make. They do affect your mental health, whether you say it does or not, and it's hard. It's hard. In other industries, for example, if you're in the corporate world, your growth is visible, right? You might join as a junior associate, then you might get promoted to associate, senior associate, etc., etc. But in this world, and that's visible within your company. So within your company, people will see the growth trajectory. But in this world, everyone sees, does a reel perform well or not? Does this video perform well or not? The numbers, what is the engagement, blah, 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 blah. And everybody knows these buzzwords. And a lot of it's out of your control, and these algorithms are constantly changing. So I've decided for myself this year especially to prioritize joy, firstly, and mental peace, but also to prioritize value, artistry, and just being authentic and honest. And numbers may come and go, but it's a long-term game. You know, it's a long-term game about building a community and building a brand, for lack of a better word, that you resonate with first and that people do as well. So how are you post-breakup and how are your mid-20s? Post-breakup, I am doing okay. Thank you for checking in. It's not been easy, but life goes on and you know, you have to move forward. With regard to being in mid-20s, I have definitely been having a little bit of a quarter life crisis. I just turned 25 this year, and okay, in the next 2 weeks alone, I'm attending 2 engagement parties and 3 shadis. And then there's also people who just like have no idea what's going on in life. And I've been talking to a lot of friends who are in similar boats, and I think everyone's feeling this sense of, this is the decision point of, what is it that I really want to do? Who am I? What are these choices? Because they'll dictate, even when it comes to love and things like that, right? When it comes to dating, we're not 17, 18 anymore where, oh, I have a crush and you know, I like someone, let's see where it goes. Of course, that still happens throughout life, but I think for some people, they start to feel like it's more serious if they consider a partnership with somebody. So, you know, all of these things. It's a mess. It's chaotic, it's a mess. Yeah, there's a lot. People came back, like this girl who lived across from me had a 3-month-old child. And so just realizing that your 20s is a weird time where everybody's in just such different chapters and phases of life. That being said, that should never feel like there's any pressure. You should never feel like you have to rush anything, because everyone's trajectory is their own. Everyone is focused on different priorities. It's cool to see that it's not a lonely experience. I think everyone in their 20s is kind of going through this. You are 20 plus, please let me know in the comments below whether you feel similarly, because yeah, it's a strange time where everyone's just in different chapters of their life all together at the same age. This is a really good question. Did you want travel as a part of your career, or were you just or did you just embrace it as you were already accustomed to it? Really good question. So for those of you who might not have context, I've lived exactly half my life between India and the US. I was born in the US, then moved to India for middle and high school, back in the US for college, but I would spend every summer and winter like, ugh. So I've always been between the two, and I'm just used to traveling in at least India, US all the time. COVID didn't travel as much, but for example, when I was in college, I was also doing music professionally, so I would be performing in Boston or New York or come back to India pretty often. I did some stuff in Southeast Asia. I was either on a bus, train, plane like every day or every weekend. COVID was a little more shant in that sense, but now it's started again in some capacity, and actually in a major capacity. I've been traveling a lot the last several months, and honestly, it's not like I've never been like, ooh, I want to travel the world and so I want a job that allows me to do that. It is amazing to be able to travel and see other cultures, but I'm not somebody who wants to travel for travel's sake, if that makes sense. I want to travel to meet people. I want to travel to create experiences. Well, this person's asked like a lot of these questions. How do you maintain fitness in spite of your busy schedule traveling? Diet plan, food, nutritional supplements. If you want a video on these kinds of things, this and so many people about my skin care. Honestly, a lot of the secret is pani. This used to be garam pani, hot water, but now it's lukewarm. But yeah, if you want videos on stuff like that and short form or long form, let me know. A person asked as a follow-up, what's the best and worst advice you've been given on relationships? Okay, let's start with worst. Worst advice was when people would talk about relationships being a distraction. Now, I recognize that they can be, and not all relationships are healthy, but I will say healthy relationships are anything but a distraction. If anything, that part of yourself that every human being has and you can't deny, obviously we all have spectrums and some people are more on the aromantic asexual spectrum, but in general, we all have hormones, we all have natural tendencies of having crushes, liking people, all of that, and it's hard to ignore. And that part of ourselves, sometimes we get so caught up and it takes up a lot of mind space, and if you're in a healthy relationship, that part feels so stable that you don't even have to worry about it. You know, so in fact, I found for many years when I was in a relationship, it was such a factor bringing stability to my life because it allowed me to just forget about that part, not forget about it, but allowed me to just feel like that part of my life was taken care of and just focus on everything else. So, you know, all the advice of people saying, oh, it's a distraction, you should not, don't date when you're in school or college or early working, only later. I find it so strange that it's not just Indian society, but a lot of places will be like, don't focus on other people, don't focus on other people, and then suddenly you turn my age onwards and they're like, Shadi kyun nahi kiya? Like, why haven't you gotten married? Why haven't you found anybody? You know, it's just, this dichotomy is just so irritating. Good advice is many pieces, but I think one is that for like a long-term relationship, that sometimes love isn't enough. And even though it sucks to hear that and think that that's possible, it's true. You can deeply love somebody, but there might come a point where other types of compatibility are so important if you want to build a long-term life with somebody, right? Whether that means marriage or not, but just having a shared life. And yeah, so I think really considering before there's a lot of people who will jump into engagement or marriage without deeply considering things like finances, where you want to be, or what that even looks like, flexibility, if having a family or kids is important to you, what are some values, you know, there's a lot. You can Google literally like what to talk about before marriage, but having those hard conversations is really important. What's the best way to make friends from all over the world and how to build a network? Ooh, this is a good question. And again, I'm happy to do a longer video on this, but part of it is, you know, when we think of the words networking, etc., they're often painted in this strategic, manipulative mindset. I think if you truly appreciate everything and every interaction with wanting to make friends and learn about the other person and human being, A, you will actually end up making friends, and B, you will then also expand your mindset. I think one thing that I have intentionally done throughout my life is surround myself with people who are very different from me, because I don't want to be caught in an echo chamber. Surrounding yourself with different ideas, thoughts, diverse experiences, and it can start anywhere. For example, if you go to school or college, often when you go to college, no matter where, if you go abroad or if you're staying in India or wherever you're going to college, we tend to stick to people who are like us, from the same city, from the same country. Venture out, try to make sure you at least befriend or make acquaintance with people who are very different from you, socioeconomically, background-wise, culturally, whatever it might be, because you'll learn so much about yourself. I'm in a space of being like, okay, what is it that you enjoy seeing? What would you like watching? What is it that makes this community fulfilling for you? There were also lots of questions about when's the next song, what else is happening, music video, etc. I have a big musical project coming out very soon. I will share more details about that next week, so please stay on the lookout. But all I can say is that there's a lot of new music coming your way, and a lot of piece of my heart that I've been wanting to share for a long time. So stay tuned for that. I mean, if you haven't checked out The End or Give Up or some of the other songs we've released this year, definitely go check them out in anticipation, because there's a lot coming your way and you are not ready. Well, thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. I know it sounds like but it really does help. So sending you lots of love. Thank you for being here, and it feels so nice to be back and chatting with you. Okay, lots of love. Bye. I'm beginning to look back. I had so much to say, but you left me speechless the Saturday you walked away. You said I couldn't have done